Hello, good evening, and my name's Andy. I'm here doing a presentation about my project, which is on whether just grading on the curve in higher education or any grade level that its impact, its pros and cons, and how or why we should use it. The first of all, by definition, and what is grading on the curve? When we talk about grading on the curve, or known as the norm reference practice or NRG, is used to limit the amount of students to get higher grade. For example, in this picture, that only that that less than 10% can get an A, and the rest of them are either going to get a C or B or an F or like a D. All students will earn a grade based on the percentile ranking, not their overall grade, which in some cases, even if you have like a 90%, which is like an A minus, you can receive an F or a D if everybody has a 95 or 98. The pros and cons of a norm referenced practice, where the first uh, the first uh, the first drawback it is the NRG discourages like helping from each other. So it's like if you're like doing homework with a classmate, he or she may take advantage of you just to get ahead of the curve. And because if one student get ahead, the another one must to make actual effort just to get a higher grade of that student, which it it gives you like incentive just to learn by yourself rather than seeking help from other classmates. The second issue is like there's not much like feedback, and just beside your rank, because you cannot learn or seek improvement from anything from like ranking if the student cannot know that what are the areas that they need to improve, or in like a class period, like what chapter they needed to improve, because like only knowing like your rank is able to predict like what's your final grade, but it doesn't give you the actual actionable advice to improve those like improve the chapter where you may just where you feel like it's really hard. The third issue is like it fosters like an unhealthy mindset of like just instead of like letting students just to have the chance to fully understand the concept and just explore the course content, the energy in and just tell them that every student in my class is like you need to beat your classmate to have an A grade in the class. If you just learn a thing, but your test score once it is lower than the mean or lower than what the majority of the class is, you will not get an A. And this is like a battle. It's not like a learning. And there's only one good thing about this is like when the exam average is like very low. Perhaps if the exam average is in a it is like 45%, which is in an F. The curve helps the teachers just to make sure there's like not everybody have an F in the class, and where the curve had normally set the course median to like a C plus or B minus or like a B. So that way, not so that way only a small portion of students who get an F or like a D. In contrast, if 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 the curve it is applied in the opposite direction, where if the averages is like 95% or 90%, it will be much more detrimental if it's applied in that way. So it's like you have 95% and you get a C. And why this matters? Because there are a few implications on their learning and their mental health. So some like the high achievers, I will just relentlessly fight for an A, regardless of how hard the course it is, or they just all, or all they come up to their mind is to learn, is to how to beat my classmate, and this will eventually cause the burnout or like a sharp decline of interest in the course content. And those high achievers may have a mentality of like, I'm doomed because I spent hours on this. There are another issues like students may change their major, or they just want just to stay away from this curve, just because they are tired of this. It's like they work hard, but the grade is not. But the grade it is not indicative of their effort. Another thing is about the teacher side, where like the teachers who may have a bad teaching skills and they try to use the like those those curves just to compensate for their bad teaching, and they do not seek any advice to improve. However, there is cases where the NRG and it is appropriate, where perhaps this is like math classes where there are 114 students enrolled. The median grade is high D. If by normal grading scale, more than half of the class will have that will not pass the course. When the norm reference grading it is used, the median grade it is mapped to the B minus, where at least 70%, perhaps 80% of the entire class will pass the class and move on to the next class, where this is the prerequisite course. There are also cases where NRG it is not appropriate, where perhaps in like a history classes, where the majority of classes have 90% or above. The course median it is A minus, which is like it's a very strong performance, and students make a lot of effort into it. If only allowing 10% of class can get an A, those kids will have like 94, 93, may get a B or even lower. And some students who have like in the lower range like a C minus, like a D, may receive an F. This this will only, and for now, I will only discuss about like some of the controversies of NRG, when to apply it, how to apply it, and its impact. My presentation is just like a snapshot the research post where the research poster will have more information on the article, just to back up the evidence of like why it is not recommended to use in higher education. It's not because we want to like to prevent great inflation. It's more about how we can help students to learn to stay mentally healthy as a college as they're in college, as they pursue their major. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening and happy Thanksgiving.